Hey guys. So just so you all know, this will be the finale of this multi-part unplugged series that I've been doing. Um Believe it or not, there are going to be other unplugs after this one, but this is going to be the finale of this passion one that I've been doing over the last little while. And But you know what? That's part of the journey, right? The ending and the beginning and everything else in between. And I don't want to get too, philosophical and sentimental about this whole thing. But before I get started on this, just so you know, this part of the story is actually really vital because this was what led me to making the biggest life altering decision of my life, something I would never have even thought about or even considered or even, you know, gone through in my head because I just never thought I would do this. So, with that in mind, let's get into this. So, so after I had gone to therapy and after I was coming out of my depression and all of that, I still had some really, really ridiculously and insanely harsh realities that I had to deal with in my home life, namely with my mom and all of that. Now, I don't want to go into a whole lot of insanely massive details about her and how not just her negativity, but also the mental and emotional abuse that I was suffering at her hands, not just me, but also my brother, my sister, and Lord knows whoever else she knew. And what made me what made me upset about that the most was that during the divorce, I wholeheartedly I believed in my heart of hearts that she was the victim, that she was the one getting hurt, that she was the one who was having every single shitty thing just thrown at her, and that the world and the universe itself was just being unfair on her on every single little thing. But the more the more that time went on, the thing is, I think I knew what the truth was. I just didn't want to accept it because I just thought that, oh, she's a woman, so she's naturally the one to, get hurt the most often, right? But the truth was, she was, in my humble opinion, she was the orchestrator of her own demise, which was this divorce. Because like I said, at the time, I was so mad. I was so angry at my. Okay, I didn't say this before, but I was so mad. I was so freaking angry at my dad for what he did. And for the longest time, I wanted to believe that he was the monster, that he was the one who did all these horrible things and inflicted all these terrible, atrocious, just mean and terrible things on all of us. But the truth was that wasn't even the truth. It wasn't, because my mom had been manipulating, pulling strings, just making every single one of us believe that she had absolutely nothing to do with our dad leaving. Because seriously, looking back on it now, leaving me and no one else, that had to be the hardest decision he ever had to make in his life. Looking back on it now, and he's all like, well, I love and I adore and I respect my kids. And if I could take them with me, I would, but I don't think I can. And it was that sort of thinking, that mindset, that led me to this life altering decision that I would come to, because that was part of, what I believe was part of his mindset. But the other thing was that every little fight, every argument, every single horrible thing that mom dragged him through the mud on, like, no one else and I were putting up with basically the exact same thing. And it took me so long to figure that out. And the sad thing was, I was constantly fighting a losing war, believing that my mom was the victim, when the truth is she never was a victim, not once. My dad, because my mom was just a terrible, terrible person. Just terrible, full stop. And anyway, her negativity and just all the bad things that emanated from her was ultimately what led to me into, like I said, making my big life decision, because I was starting to realize in a really, really bad way that all her negativity, all the bad vibes and emotions, and every evil thing that was emanating out of her was honestly starting to eat at me from the inside out, just like it had done to my dad leading up to the divorce. And during that time that it was doing that to me, I had to make a hard decision, just like my dad did, which was that I could either stay and I could let this eat me, and chances are I probably wouldn't even be still standing if I did that. Or my other decision was I could take a blind leap of faith off of a cliff into something that that I'm not even sure will work, and I don't even know if I'll land on my feet or not. But at this point, that was probably the only way I am going to survive, is if I do that. And it took me some time, and it took a lot of processing, eliminating, thinking, and just planning it out. And when I finally came to that, and I finally told my family what I was doing, the thing was, I did not feel guilty about it at all whatsoever. Because for the first time in my life, I was finally taking control of my life and what I wanted and everything. I finally had control over something that was my own. For the first time in my life, I had control over something. And one day, the woman who would become my wife, well, before that, I put in my job transfer at my current job, and I told my family what was going down, what was happening, and I heard words, both positive and negative, on all sides. And finally, one day, the woman who would become my wife came and helped me pack all my stuff into our car, and we got in and drove away, and I didn't even look back. Not once. Not once. And to this day, I do not regret making that decision at all, whatsoever. I do not. So if you're watching this right now, if you're seeing this, just know that you have every single right. If you're facing a situation like the one that I faced, you have every single right to make the decision that you believe will save your life. And mind you, this doesn't apply to self-destructive things like drugs or alcohol or something like that. But it applies to things that will make your situation better, whether it's moving to somewhere else, whether it's going to therapy, seeking out counseling, seeking out things or people that will help with your well-being, just anything like that. Go for it. And yeah, just go for it. And if you when you come out the other side, you'll come out a better person than you were before. And anyway, well, I hope you all enjoyed this peek into my past and all the pitfalls, the hurdles, and all the craziness that I went through up to this point. And I hope in some way that by me telling you all this, that I've in some way inspired you to either make the right decisions for yourself or to do, something that you never thought you would do. And just so you know, if you have gone through anything like this, let me know down in the comments below if you've been through an experience similar to this. Also, if you like this video, please let me know down in the comments also, and don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!